welcome to Break Check. I'm Craig, and this is episode 22, where we spend some time with GT Garage Talk, recapping the Texas Truck Rodeo. Hope you enjoy, and we'll see you on the other side.
It's been a while, and since we've officially gone on the record with y'all, is what I was trying to say. How have things been over in y'all's world?
Pretty good for me. Craig keeps losing his headphones and leaving them in cars, but besides that, we're doing pretty good, I gotta say.
Yeah, all the car swaps make it hard to keep up with where headphones are.
Oh my goodness! Yes.
When you drive a car where the radio hasn't worked for years and you're too cheap to replace it because headphones work fine and they're better than any in-screen navigation or infotainment we have these days, you just roll with it. But sometimes you forget headphones. Yes.
Oh man, we're starting early with the gripes.
That's it.
How many minutes in? What's the timer there? A minute 14,
Yeah,
and here we go.
yeah. Right out of the gate.
I had to pull a chain, guys. I couldn't help it. It was too fresh.
No, you raise a good point. How many times have we had to deliver each other's garage door openers to one another?
A couple of times, yeah.
iPhone plugs, USB plugs, and all that good stuff.
Or having two long-term vehicles at the same time, and both of us have hooked up Apple CarPlay to both rigs,
Yes.
being close to each other,
Yes.
and they're constantly back and forth. And
yeah. So my phone's connected to his rig, and his rig's connected to my rig, and
One of our practices now, anytime we film, is okay. Oh, we're filming today. Turn the Bluetooth off and don't plug it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very true.
All right, so to keep us on some semblance of a track for today, first thing out of the gate is recently for us, we have all been to the Texas Auto Riders fall event, the Texas Truck Rodeo, where we've already got awards coming out from that, and it's really awesome to see. Like the Truck of Texas was 2022 Toyota Tundra, and we're getting a lot of press from that, and our two channels got a lot of content from that, and we drove a lot of similar vehicles while at the event. So the first question that I've just been sitting on, waiting to ask you, Brian, while we are recording, is you let it slip, and I want to see if it's still the case that you are leaning, if not converted, to Team Wrangler, Team Jeep, since the Truck Rodeo. So please elaborate.
I don't know that I said that or not. I think you may have imagined that. I'm not sure. Look, okay, we may have discussed this. I don't think it's in print, but we may have discussed it. So last time we spoke, I just drove the 392. How can you not love the 392 Wrangler?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's not really fair. But yeah, I left that really happy, and I did leave the entire event. In fact, I told Craig this on the way home probably 15 times. Jeep understands off-road.
Yes.
As a brand, they get it. And they all, they weren't all perfect, but they were all seemed to be for their class in the leading pack of their category of vehicle. Right. And look, I still think the design of the Jeep speaks to me more. Of the interior and the exterior, I think it just seems more sorted. But we've since had the Bronco for a week from Ford. We had it a couple weeks ago, Craig. I can't remember, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I left it just thinking this is easier to live with every day.
Yeah.
And that comes down to front row comfort. The second row, they're about the same. But the front row comfort, there's a little more space. And that IFS, man, it is just sorted on the highway where we use these things most of the time. Gosh, it's hard. And look, my answer right now still stands with, if I had to get one today, I'd get a Jeep because I can buy one.
Right.
Whereas the Bronco, I can't. If they were both out at the same time and readily available, gosh, I really think it's down to which one is nearby with the features I want and color I want. And that's kind of where it would go.
Yeah.
So that close.
Speaking to the point of Broncos not being there, our buddy, good friend of the channel, ordered his launch week. He just this week got the picture of it rolling off the assembly line, and he will be getting it Thanksgiving week. So probably as you, our listeners, are listening to this live, we will probably have a Bronco, quote, in our possession or at our at quick reference for long-term tests. We'll probably bring Brandon on just to talk about the whole experience. But yeah, it's crazy. That was over a year ago that he ordered that thing.
Yeah.
And he is just now getting it. Like it's ridiculous. So
Yeah, I'm excited for him though. That's really good. I'm glad it's finally showing up and all that stuff. But
about time.
But yeah,
it's about time.
Yeah.
So with the Eruption Green coming out for 2022, Brian, have you decided yet to pull the trigger on one? I know the green was kind of that.
That was the gatekeeper, yeah. And I spoke to Craig about this last week. That I just need to go down and place my order. I think it's time to just do that.
Bye bye Raptor.
Well, that's the problem. Is I like the Raptor a lot. The more every time I go to sell it, I'm like, yeah, but it's so good.
Yeah,
and it's so basically paid off. So that's appealing too. But the reality is, if I place an order now, it's going to take a year anyways to get it. So might as well put the order in and
there you go.
roll with that.
Yeah, but you also keep sending me too many other vehicles you're interested in over text every day.
I know.
All right,
that's the disease.
Yes, absolutely.
Speaking of the Jeeps that were there, bringing it back, see what I did, Team Jeep.
There you go.
They had of the true off-road Jeeps. We'll go there. They had the Texas Trail Gladiator, and then they had two Wranglers, the 4xe Rubicon in Tuscadero pink, purple, fuchsia, whatever.
Brian's favorite color.
I'm sure. Did y'all even drive that?
No, not at all.
For what reason? The color or the fact that it was a hybrid?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the aforementioned 392 powered Rubicon Extreme Terrain or Extreme Recon, whatever the package was called with the yeah.
I don't care what you call it. It's got 480 horsepower under the hood. So
yes,
and
and
a V8.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got a connection, previous guest of our podcast, who is leading the Jeep 4xe fan club on Facebook and Instagram and on Twitter. And he said people were asking, it's funny that we've been requested of anything, that Matt and I get behind the wheel of a 392 for Matt and a 4xe for me, just given our back and forth on EVs and whatnot. And so we talked to the Jeep folks there, Scott Talon, head of marketing, and he had a Polish last name, and I'm blanking on it. the head of the SRT team that was with the 392, and we made it happen. We took them out together with the Jeep guys riding with us. And wouldn't you know it, it wasn't until we got back and I started editing the video. I'm like, I never drove the 392. And I'm so upset about it. I was like, man, how did I let that happen? And it was, we had technical issues and we had to go back around. We did the loop like twice and then the uphill climb 3 times. So yeah, I felt like we were getting greedy and I was like, we better take these Jeeps back.
Yeah, we had both of them for probably pretty close to an hour.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't get to drive it.
Yeah. Okay. Is that what it was?
That's why we took it the next day and went on the road with it.
Yeah.
And we skipped the hybrid. Said, look, we got to pick one.
Yeah.
Let's just get the loud one. And that's what happened.
There you go.
I am eat up inside that I did not get to drive it. I did get to sit in it last year, the concept, before it was like reality. Scott Talon let me fire it up, and they were joking about me driving away in it. And I was like, if you turn your back, I might be gone.
It may happen. Yeah. It may happen.
Don't tempt me in that way.
I got to say, you had a cool matchup. Craig and I were driving something else as y'all had those two lined up. And I thought, that's a good matchup, especially for you two. I think that was a good fit.
Yeah, and the video's up on YouTube. If you all hadn't checked it out, listening now hadn't checked it out, it was a fun video. We got some cool shots out of it, including a simultaneous climb up the hill. So it worked out very well. Both rigs have the exact same amount of torque, and it's essentially from the get-go in the 392. I mean, the power band in that is very wide.
It's an idle, feels like.
And
it's not, but it feels like it.
Did y'all get to do the off-road 201 or 301 course at all?
The technical course
Yeah.
they opened up later on. No, we didn't get. Look, after Craig's Tundra escapades, we kind of took it easy.
And Jeep Wagoneer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, the Wagoneer too.
What'd you
Yeah.
do in the Wagoneer?
Craig,
About the same thing I did to the Tundra.
Okay. Okay. So don't let this man do the hill climb.
In fact, on the last day, we were all beat tired,
Right.
but we were saying our goodbyes to people and said, Craig, did you drive the T-Rex yet? And he said, no. I said, well, go take a loop. And Craig goes, I'm done. I'm not breaking anything else.
I'm not breaking anything else.
Well, it got broken last year. Someone hung an exhaust pipe while they were in reverse and
On the hill climb.
yeah, it just totally. Yeah, I was flabbergasted because at that moment the TRX was under embargo. So I'm like, where am I even able to talk about these? And someone's already broken them. So it was ridiculous.
If that makes you feel better, Craig, it happens.
It
Even the
does.
embargoed ones.
Well, I didn't feel too bad, but clearly they need me to decide whether or not vehicles can make it.
Absolutely.
I'll find
Exactly.
out real quick.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
first pass through. You should be the course tester the day before.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that one does not get a red dot.
That's right.
They did take the red dot off after you drove it, Craig. They did
Yes.
officially peel that thing off.
Yeah, because
I
we were
like
not
to
allowed.
think I'm the first journalist in history to break the all-new 2022 Tundra.
You probably are.
I think you are.
I'm rolling with that, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick with it. So,
Okay.
yeah.
and it was the hybrid, and it was the luxury package. So I mean, you check in all kinds of boxes.
The long bed and
And the long bed. That was
Yeah.
the real problem. The freaking long bed.
So it's interesting that the Japanese full-size rigs are the ones that the approach angle just is not there because the Frontier,
No.
well, not the Frontier, the Titan also could not make and was not
Yep.
allowed up those same hill climbs for the same reason. It's just got a big schnoz. And I don't know, they did not have a TRD Pro version for us there, which does have a slightly better approach angle. But even still, I'm like, I don't know. You really gotta lift those things or
Yeah.
rip the bumper off the proper way to get.
Well, Craig cleared that one. It was ready to go after that, but for some reason they didn't want to keep going. It was clearanced already.
We only got one question on our YouTube comments of that video of what happened to the nose of it. So, it's mostly gone unnoticed.
That makes me happy. I think everyone worked pretty hard to exclude the nose of that thing in their footage.
Yeah.
I did the best I could with what we had. So, all right.
So funny.
Brian, you did have an interesting question that you wanted to pose to the group
Oh, yeah.
about mid-sized trucks.
I'll go ahead and lay it out. So y'all have, and this, I'm posing it to you guys mainly because y'all have already driven the truck I'm sitting in right now, and that's the Ford Ranger trimmer.
Yes.
And y'all put that head to head with the Taco, the Tacoma.
TRD Pro. Yep.
With TRD Pro, right? And I kept thinking today, the midsize segment is really heating up. It's becoming a thing. As full size trucks become really expensive, all of a sudden, what used to be the cheap midsize, or when we were kids, the Rangers were all cheap.
Right.
But now this thing is almost 50 grand. It's 47. Now it's a compressor, so it's maxed out. But
right.
Still, you're going to spend 35 or easily in one of these things or more.
Exactly.
And it makes me think, well, which one's the one to get? I've always liked a lot of these, really. But if you think of the segment, you've got Tacoma, you've got which is long in the tooth now, due for an update soon. You've got the Frontier, which is all new as of this year.
Yep.
All new-ish.
Yeah.
Ish,
Same platform. Everything else is new.
Right. All new except for the frame, but everything else is new.
Yeah.
So, and we all drove that at the rodeo, so that was on our mind. And then the Gladiator, which you mentioned earlier, the Texas Trail. And then what else do we have? The Ranger, and then the Colorado and Canyon. Those are the twins there.
Right.
Both long in the tooth as well.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. But the Ranger's also long in the tooth. So I know we got it in 19, but it was 10 years old at that point. So, So anyways, my whole thing is if you had to go buy one for, realistic money, let's say 40 grand, if you had to go buy one at that dollar amount, what are you going to get? And Corey, start with you. What would you get for that money out of the midsize truck segment?
Like I told you when you asked me online, I already have my answer picked out and ready to go. In
Let's
that,
hear it.
The all new 2022 Nissan Frontier.
Okay.
I left the Texas Truck Rodeo fully blown away, expectations surpassed with the entire Nissan brand. Because we also drove the Pathfinder while we were there, the new Pathfinder. And the Frontier, we also have a video of that going head to head against the Gladiator. Matt and I took those out. And I was thoroughly impressed with the Frontier. And it's the cheapest of the bunch. So you put a 40 grand cap on this hypothetical scenario, you can get a Pro 4X for that money. You cannot get anyone else's maxed out off-roader for anywhere near that. Like the trimmer you're in, 47. The TRD Pro that we took out, 48. The Texas Trail Gladiator, which was very low on the totem pole, was
49.
So
And still doesn't have lockers.
Yeah.
Which is insane to me.
So yes, Frontier all day, every day. Even if you raised that to 50K, I would probably still say Frontier. It's not until you get into 60, 65 that I would go, all right, Gladiator.
All right, Craig, what about you?
Man, I mean, it's a tough one. I really like the Frontier. We drove it at we did a comparo against the Pro X versus the Pro 4X, and really enjoyed both of them. It's quiet. I like the hydraulic steering. I know some people have complained about the heavy steering on it, but I like it.
It's analog.
I think it looks great. You can get it in the right green. That's a plus mark. The price is amazing. But I keep telling Brian, I keep driving Brian crazy with this problem I have with it, and that is the back seat. The angle is so straightforward and upright.
It's awful.
It is unbelievably uncomfortable. There's no way I would even put one of my kids back there.
Taco was about the same way with backseat comfort. It just...
Yep.
Yeah, and I've been in a Taco. I've been in the back of a Gladiator. I haven't been in the back of the Ranger yet. They don't seem as bad, but the Frontier seemed like the Taco and the Gladiator like borderline. The Frontier was past that. And it was like, you can't use this. This is not usable. This is just storage back here. And so that's an issue for me. Man, it would be the Ranger is compelling, but it's old. Yeah. The Colorado's compelling, but same story.
Old. Yeah.
Man, I really think I would probably I'd really like the idea of a Tacoma because of the manual.
Yeah.
And you can get a TRD off-road, not a TRD Pro, but for around your 40 grand number, a TRD off-road. You can get the green with the manual. Man, I think that's where it'd end up. As much as I like the Gladiator, maybe a Willis or something, but you don't have a locker, and man, that's a factor in the IFS day-to-day would be nice.
Yep.
And just quietness, because doors off is awesome, but if it's your primary daily, it's nice to have quiet doors, things like that.
Yes.
So all right, Matt, what about you, man?
The only one that I haven't driven actually is the Frontier, but I will say when it comes to price point, and you put the 40,000 price cap on it, I'm going Frontier all day. If it's no holds barred on a price point, I'm going Gladiator. And
whoa.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the reason why. When it comes to the fun factor, the Gladiator cannot be beat.
Sure.
Doors off, top down, off-road capability. It cannot be touched. And you can do all of that with a manual. So it's
pretty
just
cool.
The capability is there. The fun factor is there. The Ranger is going to be super comfortable and real easy to drive in town. And as far as a day-to-day rig, absolutely. But if it's a fun factor thing, if it's a rig that I'm going to get in and have fun with on a regular basis, I'm going Gladiator. And it's just really hard to beat the price point of that Frontier.
I was blown away when we started talking price on that Frontier. I couldn't believe how much it undercuts the competition.
It really does.
Right.
It's almost the old Hyundai Kia trick. They undercut people so much that it's a really good bargain.
Yep.
And I think it's what Nissan needs right now, just a shot in the arm to get people to say, well, you know what, I'm going to $8,000. I'm gonna go try it and see, and then figure out. Okay, I could do this. So yeah.
But you know what's interesting is that Nissan has kind of reinvented themselves ever since the whole Carlos Ghosn, CEO problem, fleeing the country situation. They're kind of like, don't look over there. All of a sudden, we've got a whole portfolio of cars that we haven't updated. Let's just update them all at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what's happened. And they all look pretty good. I mean, I think they all look rather attractive. They don't look like angry toasters. A lot of times you get designers that just go too far with stuff, and they're livable, right? And the Frontier, it's like a known commodity. I mean, its bones are old, even though it looks fresh and it feels fresh.
Yeah.
And it's much more refined than the old one, but mechanically it's going to be easy.
Yeah.
And much like you, Corey, I was searching Frontiers today actually, and I was like, man, I found a green one for $38,000, Pro 4X. And I'm like, if the Gladiators just are more than that, even though I think they are more fun, and I'm really appealed to them. But I'm torn because you can also get a Ranger 4-door, 4-wheel drive for like $33,000. So that's compelling too, to get a cheapo Ranger. But Frontier's probably where I'd land as well.
Yeah, the Ranger daily livability. We had that exact one for a week, and I think because we had the taco at the same time as it, I think I probably had it 4 or 5 days. I had it a good chunk of time.
Yeah,
and it's in the cyber orange, and I love loud colors, and it was a very comfortable, livable vehicle that, in that loud color, kind of fit me. I was kind of okay with it. Y'all had mentioned not necessarily driving all of them. I am yet to get any decent wheel time in the GM twins, and y'all actually said the last time we spoke that the ZR2 Bison was perhaps one of your favorite vehicles of all time. So it's interesting that neither one of y'all really went there, again, knowing there was that $40,000 cap. So
the price was a factor there.
Yeah. If 50 was the answer, then 02 is really compelling. But Craig, why don't you tell them the real issue with the Colorado Canyon twins?
8-speed.
Yeah, the 8-speed trans. It's we didn't really know it at the time. We had a lot of people comment on our videos, and we actually had that 02. I don't know if y'all remember. We had a massive ice storm about almost a year ago.
I seem to recall something of this sort.
Yeah, you may have seen on the news. Might have been a power outage problem here and there, and so we ended up having that thing for 3 weeks because General Motors called us and said, "By the way, we're not picking cars up." And I said, "Okay." And then a week went by. I didn't hear anything. And I got an email saying, "Oh, by the way, we're still not able to get to your car. Do you mind keeping another week?" I said, "Sure."
Twist my arm.
Yeah. Oh, twist some more. And
so
we
sorry.
drifted it more in the snow and ice, and we, did our things with it and really liked it. But I will say, we were done filming it, and by week 3, it started shifting a little bit weird. It wasn't horrible, but it was, something was up there. And we did a little research on it, and apparently that is a problem. So I'm a little gun shy of that as a ownership proposition, at least out of warranty. But man, what a great truck. I thought it was really cool. It was really quiet as well. In fact, I'm sitting in the Ranger now, and Corey, I like it too. I like the color. I like the ergonomics are just on point in here. And this feels a little less refined than the GM. And that's because the GM's actually newer.
Yeah.
And even though we haven't had it, we've had it longer, but this truck has been on a global platform, the Ranger platform, for since 2011 or 12. So it's not quite as refined as the GM.
I summed it up in the fact that it was everything old school Ford that I disliked about Ford. The gauge cluster was like the previous gen Expeditions that I just couldn't stand.
Yeah. Oh man,
the 2 D-pads on the steering wheel to control either side of the instrument cluster, and it's just too much going on. A little too old school Ford for me, and the boo-doo-doo all the time. Like, shut up,
all
please.
The Euro Ford chimes.
Yeah, just turn them off. Just turn them off, please. So, very interesting. All that being said, for $40,000 though, I'm probably not shopping the mid-size pickup truck segment. I'm just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would go full size. You're flirting with full size money at that point.
That is true. Brian and I talked about that this morning. You start getting 45, 47 like this Ranger, then all of a sudden it's like you can get a full-size XLT or Silverado Trail Boss, or
Mm-hmm.
you're starting to get into some full size territory that is they're not as maybe not as well suited for the trail, but way more capable everywhere else.
Yeah.
With no mileage
And those
penalty.
back
So
seats that we've complained about in pretty much all of the rigs, except for maybe the Gladiator, non-issue in the full-size rigs,
Yeah.
like at all.
Yeah.
So very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, at 47 grand, the Trail Boss is a real problem for this truck, for this
yeah,
Ranger.
Yeah.
So, and the mileage, by the way, was better than the Trail Boss in my daily drive. So,
with the 6-speed.
That's
with a
insane.
6-speed
Yeah.
and the 5.3.
That's insane.
It's terrible.
A
Yeah.
little turbo 4
I mean-
can't keep up with a full-blown V8. Yeah.
So I'm curious what you guys would say or think. So we have a brand new refreshed Frontier. We have a Tacoma that's 3 generations old. Seems like.
Essentially, it is.
The Ranger that's they just keep adding packages instead of revamping it.
Until next year.
The Colorado Canyon Twins are supposed to be updated for 22 or 23. Like there's a big mid-sized segment, half of which have big brothers, and a couple of those have a little brother as well. Now with the Maverick, and the Santa Cruz and the Ridgeline, do you see? I guess Ford's the only one that really has a compact pickup at the moment of those. But do you see a shift away from, especially with Ford, away from the Ranger completely, or do you think there's still a market there for that mid-sized truck?
Oof. Man, I think there's still a spot there. And the reason why is because some people still want a small truck that tows a lot.
Yeah.
And that's one thing the Ranger's really good at. It has a 7,500 pound tow rating, which is right there with the Gladiator. But,
Not that you would know it on that one because there's no hitch on that truck.
well,
He's still
there is
salty.
that. Yeah, they want to tow hooks instead for some reason. But anyways, yeah, I'm with you on that. But the point being is that the Ranger still fills I have to park it in the city or maneuver the city, but I do have a trailer that's heavier than what the Maverick will tow.
Yeah.
I do think they're going to cannibalize a little bit along the way. There's going to be a byproduct of that.
I don't think it's going to be as much cannibalism as we think, and here's why. I think because look, we're in a world now where Ford and Chevy, or Ford and GM, your two biggest auto manufacturers in the States, practically just don't make a car.
Yeah.
Right.
So in the old days, that Maverick would have been a Focus or a Fiesta.
Yeah.
Those cars are gone. So
Yeah.
the Maverick's really taken that space, not so much the Ranger space. I think.
Yeah.
I hope, because
That's a
I
good
want
point.
the midsize segment to continue to be strong, and I'm glad it's back and there's all these players in it because there's a lot of cool trucks there. But that's my hope and my guess. But maybe it's more of a hope. I don't know.
I will say this. We had a comment on our Santa Cruz video of a happy owner who tows a camper with his Santa Cruz and sent a video and everything. And I was like, wow, that's actually quite impressive.
That's awesome.
So they're more capable than we give them credit for, perhaps. I don't know. What did y'all get to drive the Santa Cruz at all? I know that was a very hot vehicle to get a hold of at the rodeo.
I did, but just for another journalist friend of all of ours, Adam Moore, he just needed B-roll for it. So I just drove it for that purpose.
Yeah.
For his video, but I didn't get it on the road or the highway. But we've driven, what is it, Craig? It's a Tucson?
The Tucson. Yeah.
Yeah, we've driven that, and so I'm sure it's similar. And I love the powertrain in those; they're awesome. So no, but we didn't get to shoot it though. We didn't get it on film. We didn't get to review it. But of course we climbed through it and played with it. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks better than the Maverick.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the market does with it because I've got a feeling the Maverick's going to outsell it quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother-in-law has been a Hyundai faithful for a while now. She's got a Santa Fe. She had a Tucson before that. And every time she sees it, she goes, yeah, you're going to have to give me something more for that. She's not feeling it. She's like,
Okay.
she would need rebates and incentives to jump into that. I think Hyundai's gone a little extreme on the styling, maybe. For her, I think it's just I don't know.
I-
I personally
I've got-
love the direction Hyundai, Kia, their design philosophy is going.
I've got 2 words for you why the Santa Cruz beats the Maverick.
Yeah.
Crotch chillers.
Oh
Ball
man,
chillers?
that is true. That
Yeah.
is true. Hey, let me let you in a little secret here. I've got a secret hypothesis, and that is that Craig is waiting for the Santa Cruz to get rebated or just used enough. Because I'm not sure if you guys knew this or not, but Craig, my dear brother Craig here, he loves an underdog.
Yeah.
And he will love a car 3 times more if it's not on every street corner. And it's not about being unique. It's about, is that really necessary? F350 King Ranch. Do you really need that to drive to the grocery store? Right? All those kind of pragmatic things.
Sure.
Yeah.
And Craig's first vehicle was the 1983 Plymouth Scamp, which is basically a smaller front-wheel drive El Camino.
Yeah.
And it cemented in his
Psyche.
metrics from there on, right? And so I think the Santa Cruz is going to be, give that thing 5 years and make it 25 grand. Whoo! He's going to have one. I'm telling you, he might have 2. I don't know. He might have 2.
So
But if it sells really well, he might not like it as much. So just know that.
yeah, I don't think they're going to sell well, I actually have several points on this. I'm huge into this compact truck segment right now. I follow a couple different Maverick groups and a couple different Cruise groups. And it's funny how much they antagonize each other back and forth, because it really gets hilarious. You know how much better the Santa Cruz is, and the Maverick people will talk about how much cheaper the Maverick is. You know, it's just back and forth all the time. I got in the Santa Cruz, and it was the first rig we got in from the rodeo. Just happenstance. That's what we jumped in.
They started disappearing. We had to get in something.
we raced up there to. You want to do this? No, can't do this. Somebody's already in that one. What about this?
You should have got a Tundra first. That would have been better for everybody.
Yeah,
probably so. Yeah. But the Santa Cruz, in the 10 minutes that I drove it, I forgot I was in a pickup. Like it's that CUV that it's a Tucson, and especially when you're in it driving down the road, there is no pickup bed behind you. And it doesn't matter. For some people, that's fantastic because that fits the niche of what they want. They want an SUV with a pickup bed, right? For me, I would rather have or know that I'm in a truck, and that seems to be the biggest departure between the two. Is the Maverick is much more truck focused, more we're going after the truck market with this truck, versus the Santa Cruz being adventure vehicle. You know, this is a CUV with a pickup bed, so
it's a Super Baja before an F-150.
Yes,
right. Like
yes.
And you just got to know that. I think you're right about that completely.
Yeah. So, I want a Maverick desperately.
So bad.
I really, really, really want to drive one. I'm still on the fence about the powertrain, whether I go 2-liter turbo or hybrid.
You're going to end up with a hybrid.
It's surprising to me because I would typically run from anything hybrid, but that one has me intrigued. At 40 miles to the gallon, it just, man, it's kind of wild.
Matt, you don't drive a lot of highway on your commute. Like you have a short commute, right? And you don't do a whole lot of highway.
I am 2 miles from work.
Okay, so you are actually just get a bike. Forget the truck. Just get a bike.
That's on his shopping list too.
Yeah,
not a bicycle.
All kidding aside, like the hybrid would actually get 40 miles a gallon on your drive.
Yeah.
Whereas on the highway, it won't get that. Like its strong point is the city drive.
Yes.
So
highway. What is it? Highway 32.
Right. Yeah.
32, 33. So yeah, I mean, that's still great because the 2-liter turbo isn't quite at 30, but
right.
I know that the tunability of the 2-liter turbo is going to be there because the 2.3 and the Ranger, people have gone nuts with tuning those and, downpipes and intakes and all kinds of stuff. So
the 2-liter turbo will be 4 times as fun as the hybrid. Just know that. And it's the motor, and I'm not joking, the motor is straight out of the Focus ST. Not the RS, but it's straight from the ST, Focus ST 2-liter. Nothing's changed. They just dropped it in. The tunes revised it mechanically, oil pan to valve cover, nothing's changed. It's a great little motor. It's a lot of fun.
Yep.
So speaking of fun motors and off-road vehicles, I'm going to shift gears a little because I think all but one of us are on the same page of this one. So,
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
The Chevy Beast was recently unveiled
Oh Lord.
for the SEMA show, and
The Chevy Polaris or side by side? What was it called?
that's pretty much basically what it looks like.
3 times the size of a Jeep Wrangler, but yeah, I mean, side by side it is.
For those unaware, what rock have you been under? I'm sure the Beast will climb over it. It is a SEMA project.
Waiting for that one.
Yep. It's
He wrote that
a
2 days ago.
SEMA project build by General Motors, Chevrolet branded, using the Silverado platform, but basically sort of a 4-door SUV
With no doors.
with tubular doors, an LT4 under the hood, and
It's about the only thing they got right on that.
lifted suspension, bigger tires, just incredible off-road thing that shows that General Motors
Is
at least
copping out.
still has people within the halls that know, okay, people want to go off-road. They want something fast, loud, big, and he calls it a cop-out because they'll never make it. But I'm
Yeah,
rejoicing.
right.
It's true. I'm rejoicing in the fact that it was even trounced out and brought out in front of us, because the GM we all know right now is EV all the things, and then they go and do this.
On paper.
Yes, that's true. But what are y'all's thoughts on the Chevy Beast? Because I've been fighting a battle over here.
Oh, this is easy. Hey, you want a Jeep competitor? Sorry, we can't do that. Do you want a Raptor competitor? Sorry, we can't do that. Guys, what do we need for SEMA? Make a Polaris for them, please. Just make it big. Put tires on it. Put the Corvette motor on it. We'll never make it.
Yep.
But it'll at least get a headline.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
did. It did.
It did. And I do think it's cool.
Here's what I'm more excited about, and that is the Bronco DR.
Okay.
The
Which is
Desert
even
Runner.
Yes.
just as pointless.
No.
Pointless.
Listen. Desert Runner, 5-liter Coyote in it.
Yep.
Right?
It's got the Multimatic shocks on it. And here's where it's different than the Chevy Beast. They're actually making at least 50 of them.
That's true.
They're going to be $250,000 a piece, but
we want
yeah.
to see
yeah,
it.
they actually get it. So
Right.
Well, we might, see them at a show or something, but that's
cars
the
and coffee on
extent.
the trailer.
Yes.
Oh man.
Oh.
No,
honestly, the Beast is cool. I wish they would make something that was, like I said, Jeep competitor, or maybe make like a proper Blazer. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah.
It sure would
It's
be
such-
nice, right?
It'd be so cool.
I'll say this. It is cooler than the Tesla Cybertruck,
Yes.
Oh yes, yeah,
Yeah.
which
I'll
they'll
give you
also
that.
never make. You heard it here first.
yeah.
The issue I have with it is, and to Corey's point, yeah, they took all this cool tech that they've got laying around on the different shelves in the different departments, and they put it all together, and they made this awesome truck. And to his point, look, this is what we can do. And to my point, look what we'll never do. Like,
Right.
you've had
right.
the ZR, the Z71 package. Now you've had the Trail Boss, and now we're adding the ZR2 to it. And each of those comes nowhere close to what this Beast is that you're taunting and showing off and everything else. And every bit of those parts would bolt right into that frame rail. So what's the
It's
problem?
the same frame rail. Yeah, it's just.
It's a
I take
cop-out.
your point on that. Like the ZR2 is a really cool trail rig, and I'm excited about it. But it's not a T-Rex or a Raptor.
Nope.
It's not the same category.
Nope.
And so we know they can do it. Just do it.
Yep.
Like Chevy does great work, man. When they put they've got some killer engineers on their team, some of the best chassis engineers in the world, and they just. I don't know why they won't make something like that, because they would sell all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them. It's just-
It'd be amazing.
Even if you priced them at $85 or $95 or $110,000
it's
like
on.
the H2s,
It's
I
on.
mean, yeah, they'd be gone.
Stupid Hummer EV.
Freaking summer EV. Oh, it can crab walk. That's great.
Yeah. You'll never get one, and it'll cost an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
That takes me to, I'm trying to, so this.
TRX?
Yeah, no, you want,
Oh,
yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good move. Matt, what do you think of TRX?
Okay, that truck. So I drove. Let me just. Yeah, this was my first experience with the TRX, and I want like 4, but
Good news for
I
him. They had 4 there.
they did.
Yeah.
I drove the 392 first, and I kind of got this sense that it was just like it didn't care, right?
I think you described it as a giant middle finger to the world.
It's a giant. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's 2 giant middle fingers.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then I get in the TRX, and it's like a light bulb went off. Right? It's not just a wide body 1500 with a nasty Hellcat motor under the hood. Like everything about that truck was thought out. Everything about that truck was purpose built. Everything about that truck has a purpose, down to the launch button next to the gear selector. I mean, it's on purpose, and they built it to do stupid speed across the desert, and it does it.
Or the street.
And
Right.
you get to put it on the highway and say F you to everybody you pass, because that's what that truck. It just that was my summation of that truck. It is a giant F you to everything else on the road.
So Corey, if I may interject here, you drove it last year.
Yes.
Did you drive it again this year?
No, I rode along this year.
Okay.
I will say I did drive for the first time and fell, I'll say, smitten with, which doesn't sound right given what I'm about to say, the Power Wagon.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, Craig can comment on that. Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed the Power Wagon to the point where if I'm spending my own money, I'm deeply torn between TRX and Power Wagon.
Ooh.
Which is saying a lot because I really like the TRX for all the aforementioned points Matt just made. But the Power Wagon, 2500, rides up tall. It's practically a house unto itself. And it just has that don't care about anything attitude. It will climb over anything. You've got solid front axles. You've got lockers. It's everything I would want from a full-size Jeep.
Yeah.
And
That's a
I
good
loved it.
analogy. Yeah.
And
What do you
here's
think,
the
Craig?
best part about the Power Wagon. There's a secret tradesman option that you can price for about the same thing Brian's sitting in right now.
Yeah.
You can get a Power Wagon.
Yeah.
That's
And you can get it
incredible.
in green too.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. When we started talking legit price about full-size rigs, especially when Matt and I were talking the heavy duty crowd, I was like, Power Wagon all day, every day. Like you're not going to get me away from that because the entry into a diesel is just so high. It's like an $8,000 premium.
It's
and that 6.4 in the Power Wagon, and then again the solid front axle and all the lockers and off-road goodies. It every box tick 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 tick.
Now, here's a question I do have for you on the Power Wagon front. Brian and I recently had the F350 trimmer,
yeah.
and not a soft suspension like the Power Wagon at all.
Not at all. Not at
But
all.
it's a heavy-duty truck. And here's my question. Is the Power Wagon still a heavy-duty truck with a payload of about the same thing Brian's sitting in?
Less than what the Ranger can handle.
Seriously, I had not compared the two because it seems so just absurd, but
It blew me away when I saw.
you're not buying it for that. You want
but that's Craig's question though. is
yeah.
like, should it be under the?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's
2100?
not a good truck.
No, we love it. Yeah, well, back
Right.
it up. We love the thing, but
Yeah.
shouldn't that package be available on the 1500 instead,
yes,
or could it be? Is I guess the question.
it definitely should be. I
Yeah.
would say, but I don't know
Because we loved it too. I mean, I'll let Craig dig into it more. I think you
I
liked it
love
quite
that
a
thing.
bit.
It was just what Corey said. You could go over anything. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my footage of
but-
it walking over the articulation was so
Effortless.
boring.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not
Oh,
even
there's
worth
rocks
putting in the video. Like,
I didn't even unlock the sway bar, and it didn't give a crap.
Yeah.
I just didn't care.
I watched it and then I rewound it. I was like, wait, did Did I blink? Did I look away? Like, did I miss it? No, it literally did not care. And I was like, well, this is going to be the most boring video I've ever published. So I'm still working on it.
And it was
by the way.
comfortable on the road, too.
Yeah. Just, I loved it.
Well, that's that soft spring goes to that as well, and it doesn't wander. For a solid front axle, it doesn't wander like the Jeeps do. And on that note, I want to bring it back to the 392 for a second because there's parallels here. We did that review. In fact, I'm editing that right now. It should be out later this week. We did a on-road and off-road review of that. And again, one of the cars that Craig was not particularly excited about. He was like, it's kind of this. It didn't make a lot of sense on paper, I don't think, to him. And then, when we got to the road portion and he started it up, he went, "Oh, this is great!" like immediately, he was like, "This is awesome."
Yep.
Off-road, when we drove it, I was driving off-road. Craig was driving on-road. Off-road on the first obstacle, like you said, Corey, it was boring.
Yeah.
Like it was like, well, this wasn't a challenge at all, and this is before the technical trail was opened up.
Right.
And so we did the loop, and I thought, let me do the loop again, and I'll put it two-wheel drive. Well, then I learned that it's only 4 high or 4 low. You can't do two-wheel drive in that thing. And so I did it in 4 high. It was a little more entertaining, but not really. So then we decided basically to put it on the road. And last night I played back the launch footage, Craig, of you launching it on pavement.
Yes.
And it smokes front and rear tires.
Oh, yes.
Just like the T-Rex did last year when we filmed it. And it's Series 16 4.5, which is not far from the T-Rex. I mean, it's a Jeep. It's such a riot. It's just a complete hot rod. And I think Craig said something along the lines of, it's a Mustang GT shoved into a Wrangler, and it's amazing.
Yep. and how many guys are going to go out and shatter Dana 44s all the time in those rigs?
All of them. Look, if you can buy that, you can buy another Dana 44.
That's
true.
right.
Very true.
That's right.
Very true.
All right.
Super cool. That thing was awesome.
Yeah.
So we've been chatting a while. We'll do maybe a quick round robin of some things that you've driven lately that you've really liked, or something that's on your radar that you're really interested in. We're creeping into the auto show season. LA Auto Show's coming up. SEMA just happened. There's a lot going on. We haven't even talked about Corvette Z06 yet. So,
oh man, yeah.
What?
Okay, let's park here for a minute. Craig, you're outnumbered here, buddy. Good luck.
No, he's not.
No, I think it's a split decision over here.
Okay, all right.
Well, look, the Z06 is, we've been through this before. I think we may have talked about this. I'm not sure. We talk about cars all the time. I can't remember if it was on a podcast or a phone call, but it's amazing. Okay, I'm just going to get this out of the way. It's amazing.
Yes.
I love what they did. I love that they figured out what Ford did in 2017 to show me the 250. Good for them. Slow clap.
Yes.
I love it. However, here's my problem with it. And as incredible as it is, it's a car that's so far out of most people's reach. I'm just not that impressed. I'm not. It's like
It doesn't speak to you.
It's like when a new Ferrari comes out. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'll never touch that thing.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. And they're still amazing vehicles, and I love reading about Ferraris and McLarens and Porsches and Z06. But I don't get personally excited about them. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So circling back to the question, what have you been in lately that has excited you, or what is on your radar that what have you seen lately? What is of interest to Craig Robb?
You know what? We've been in a lot of fun things of late in different categories, from heavy duties to now mid-sized trucks to SUVs to some other stuff, and then of course the truck rodeo. Man, what's probably wasted the most amount of my time on a building price would be the Bronco.
Okay.
And that's and I mean that segment. So that Broncos made me building price so many Jeeps and so many Broncos.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out the question at the beginning of this podcast, Team Jeep or Team Bronco, and I don't know which team to pick. Like Brian says, I wish they were both available right now, and I could go compare them and get one that I want. That's on a lot. But the supply chain issues are really messing things up. But the Bronco is so compelling because it's such a fun vehicle that has all the Jeep fun with it,
Mhm.
but I can drive to work and not be annoyed.
Mhm.
And that's a party trick. That is hard to pull off, and they did it.
Yeah.
So,
Brian?
Yeah, good point. Oh man, I mean, I don't want to steal Craig's answer, but I'm gonna give you an answer and a half. The Mach E really impressed me. And
Impressive. Okay.
yeah, look, y'all know me as the have fun plugging in your power wheels. I'm gonna go do a burnout with
Right.
this
Right.
with some fire over here. And I still feel that way. I still enjoy those things. But the Mach-E really, it clicked with me in that this is a really good option for a lot of people.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I'm the best test case for that, but Corey, you had the same car that we had. You took it to Amarillo, and you had a heck of an adventure.
So
Craig
long.
took it to West Texas and followed the plan and didn't have the problems you did, thankfully.
Right.
But I think he also had maybe a different route, may have made a difference there. But it proved to us that the biggest drawback to EVs is that you can't just say, let's go on a trip and drive and see where you go. You have to plan it out. The grid is not
Spontaneity.
by and large there. If you live in an apartment, this won't work for you. But if you have a garage, and we did plug into the dryer plug in our garage, and it charged just fine overnight, and that worked for us. We learned from you guys. We bought the right plug before we got in the car, so
Nice.
it worked out. But it clicked with me that if you sit in stop and go traffic, and you just don't like driving, this is going to be awesome. It feels nice. It feels compelling. And there's no shift in the stop and go rolling traffic. There's no 10-speed transmission problems. You can't pick a gear, right? It just has it figured out. So
And it
felt unique
doesn't
and
feel
special.
like
I
a
liked it for that
Ford at
reason.
all inside. Like I got in it and I was like, this is a Ford? Like
Right. Oh, yeah.
I was blown away by the interior. It was truly an impressive rig.
yo, I think it's the best interior Ford's
Done in
maybe ever
years.
done.
Yeah. Now it's still missing ball chillers. That's still a real problem, but they'll figure that out.
Yes.
But pragmatically, I've been most intrigued by the Bronco because, like Craig, I keep looking at him, and I'm probably putting a deposit down here shortly. So
Well, there you go.
Yes.
yeah,
Matthew.
I'm gonna twist your question just a little bit, and I know because I don't really have a direct answer for you, but
Corey's shaking his head for those that can't see that.
I think you'll like this answer though. So, and this was
Edge my seat.
the vehicle that surprised me the most from the rodeo, and that was the Nissan Pathfinder, new for this year.
Ooh,
Wow.
Like
okay.
genuinely set me back, going, man, this is really nice. This is really good. This is wow. Like genuinely surprised me because I got in it going, okay, it's another CUV. Like, yeah, it's been updated. It looks nice on the inside. No big deal. Everything about that, fit and finish, the drivetrain, everything about that, the exterior look on it was amazing. I
look
was
good.
thoroughly impressed with that vehicle.
Interesting. Did not expect that. I was going to try and sneak in there with the Duramax Yukon. And be like, that's what it was.
That was a good rig, but no.
Yeah. So for me, I would say I spent a lot of time on B&P for the Frontier, especially after going back and editing that video. I was like, this can't be right. I had to double, triple check the math before I put it in a video and uploaded it. So I will say for me, it was the Nissan Frontier just blew me away. I had to double and triple check the pricing before I published a video saying that it truly undercut the competition by that much. It blew me away, and blew me away that like it had everything I wanted for relatively cheap. So that one was one. A rig that I miss having is the one that I'm currently editing a video for, and completely came out of nowhere because I did not expect to have these feelings whatsoever. And that
For a
was
Ford.
That was the Ford Expedition Max. Like, I miss it. My wife misses it. My son misses it. I don't know what happened. It wasn't even the top trim. It was a limited. It was very well appointed. and it had me going Suburban Who. Like,
Ooh,
Interesting.
Matt, you finally rubbed off.
Yep.
Took you long enough.
being in Fords for a month, I finally was like, okay, like GM
do it to
better
ya.
take notice because I know they just updated the Tahoes and the Suburbans and that whole family of vehicles. After spending a week in the expedition, my excitement level for the bow tie bunch, it has diminished in that segment. And I was thoroughly surprised by that. And knowing that Ford is updating the styling for 2022, I said it in the video, I'll say it here, best looking vehicle in the segment.
Ooh, man, I agree with you. I think they've teased the 22. It looks awesome.
Absolutely.
And I listened to Corey. I listened to y'all's podcast where you talked about the expedition. And man, I agree with you. Like we've had time in the Yukons and Tahoes and all that. I actually like the previous gen Tahoes quite a bit. But something about the styling just doesn't quite resonate with me
Right.
quite right. And the expedition, you're like, no, that looks proper. Like it looks stately. It looks like it's got its stuff together, and it's not trying too hard, and it's doing a good job at what it needs to do. And it's just it's a well-rounded package.
Yep.
And the Expedition Timberline is coming too.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yep.
With a giggle button. I was, it's going to have
the
trail turn
turn
assist.
thing?
So yeah, I'm very intrigued, and I'll be knocking on Ford's door for a press vehicle when the 22s are making the rounds because I was surprised how much my entire family liked that one.
Wow.
So
Cool.
Your podcast talking about it with you guys talking on the episode made me wish we had that press car. I almost called Ford and said, "Can we swap one of these for the expedition?"
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I think y'all had the Bronco at the time, and I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, Bronco, please, over here.
Yeah.
Because if we had one, there are only like one or two in town. I've spotted one.
Yeah.
There's a blue one over on Grande. It works over on Grande.
Yeah, so
there's a gray one in Lindale.
we would be followed.
He knows where they're at.
Yeah, we would be followed around if we had a Bronco over here for sure. Because I still see all the comments in the 903 Jeep Club. People will post a Bronco Sport and be like, "These things are smaller than I thought they'd be." And I'm like, stop.
Jeez.
Just stop.
It's the wrong one.
I still get text messages. I saw a Bronco today, and I just go, "You probably didn't."
Yeah. No, you didn't.
I have seen multiples now in person on the road driving places that don't have dealer tags on them. So I know that they're out there. I know they're beginning
real
to,
now.
Yeah.
They exist in reality.
Only took them a year.
I will say this will be the last thing, and then we can wrap it up. My absolute favorite thing that I've driven recently, no surprise here, Chevy fanboy, C8 Corvette convertible. I loved it. I loved it. And
Great car.
I've been on Build and Price. I'm like, I could get one.
Not that much.
If I sell my kidney and then maybe, but
You don't need both of them. I mean,
I know.
you can still live with one.
To be fair, the all around package for the price is practically unbeatable. The looks I was getting in that one, we had a Rapid Blue which stood out like crazy.
That looked good.
Really good.
Where we were filming was actually up on a hill, and there was a little crotch rocket who was zooming back and forth. And when we got it out on the road, he actually challenged us to a race. He thought he could beat us. So, I loved that thing, and I wanted to keep it, but the 40 grand markup on it was a huge deterrent. So, yeah, there's that.
That's a whole nother car of markup. That's just so much.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. That one was selling for 130, and I believe building one exactly how I would like it, which was practically the same, was around 89. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. The one we had last spring was like 80 and change, something like that. But the fact that in theory you can get one for 60, although I doubt you'll ever see one at that price,
right.
is it's on the edge of if you really push and you place an order and all that kind of stuff, you can still do it. And to Craig's point, the Z06 is going to be six figures. We know that. But the Z06 is on paper going to solve the only problem I have with the C8, and that's that the motor doesn't feel special enough for how great it looks and performs. So I'm excited for that. That's why I'm on your side, Corey, of the excitement for the Z06.
Yep.
Even though they did just copy the GT350, I'm glad they're doing it. So
Getting on a podcast with all these
Love it.
Blue
I love
Oval
it.
fanboys.
I love it.
I had to put that in there, Corey. That's
Okay.
weird.
You guys should
Corey,
come
Matt,
on more
Matt
often.
call us ahead of time and told us to do all this. So.
Your check is in the mail.
How much was it? No.
Finally.
All right, gentlemen. Well, it was absolutely great catching up and talking with y'all yet again, comparing a little bit of notes from the Texas Truck Rodeo and a little bit since then. Looking forward to seeing y'all in person yet again. Probably, if we don't concoct something amongst ourselves, we'll be at Texas Motor Speedway for a little auto roundup, if I'm not mistaken. So, very much looking forward to that. It's always fun when we are recorded or get together in any way, shape, or form. So thank you so much. Won't you, if our listeners, for some reason, have not figured it out by now, how to find you, why don't you let our listeners know? Or
Go
our
ahead, Brian.
viewers.
Oh, okay. I'll get this one. BrakeCheckShow.com, and that takes you to everything. So, BrakeCheck Show, that's our handle.
Yep.
Awesome.
Makes it super easy to find them. We're so grateful to Brian and Craig. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a wonderful evening. I know we've kept you up. So,
Thank you, guys. We'll see
Guys,
you.
thank you. We appreciate you. Have a good one.
Bye.
Well, thanks for listening to that crosstalk with GT Garage. We always enjoy some time with them, and we hope you do as well. Stay tuned for more coming soon on BrakeCheckShow.com, on YouTube and Instagram and all that fun stuff. You know where to go. Brian's not here to correct me because I never get it right. But, does anyone really need any of that? Anyways, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.